The PMI-ACP exam is riddled with questions about how to fill in the application. I've had people reach out to me and ask me, how do I even do this thing? So I'm going to show you today, and you are going to see end to end how to fill in the PMI-ACP application. I would like you to follow along with me, and by the time we're done today, I want you to have completed your ACP application. All right? Are you ready? Let's jump into it. So to get started, go to PMI's website, pmi.org. You want to go down to certifications and look for PMI-ACP right over there. Now, to understand what you need for the ACP exam, you're going to hit that link that says apply now for your ACP, or you can find yourself on this page, which I have readily opened for you, and I'll endeavor to put a link below. But this page is perhaps the most transparent page about what you need for the ACP. You need a high school diploma or higher, general project experience, so 2,000 hours working on project teams. This is not avoidable. You need this. Now, if you have a PMP or a PGMP, this is waived for you, right? In addition to that, you need to have agile project experience, 1,500 hours working on agile project teams. These hours are in addition to the 2,000 hours in general project experience. So roughly 8 months of experience in agile is what you need to be able to apply for this exam. Okay, that will give you the amount of hours if you're working consistently in agile. You also need training in agile practices, and for this I would recommend our course, which is at agileprinciple.com. And the reason why I recommend our course is it comes with a book, it comes with guidance, and it also comes with an initial meeting. So if you go to the site and you look for the dates for either live training or on-demand/hybrid, we have an offer here where you can jump into an on-demand training, and that comes with a session, just you and me going through the plan to make sure your studying is going to be nailed down tight. And you can see here, I have week 0, meet with Phil. You meet with me, we work together, and we get you on a cadence to ensure successful completion. All right, so there's all the information about the exam. Now you know what is required. The examination is going to test you on agile fundamental knowledge and the ability to apply that knowledge to basic projects. And you need 30 PDUs every 3 years in agile topics. Okay? Now let's go back to the very first page, Agile Certified Practitioner page. You're going to click on Apply Now for your PMI-ACP. Let's do that. Loading, loading. And to effectively fill in this application, you should be thinking about agile projects that you've worked on, okay? Like I said, if you are a PMP, a lot of this is waived. So let's say my highest level of education is a master's degree. I'm just going to randomly fill in some of this information. I'm just randomly filling in information. Professional education. Now I need to talk about my PMI-ACP exam training. You got to make sure your course dates align. If your course dates are in the future, it won't like that. So let's say 30 hours of the education qualify. Okay. At this point, I'm going to save the education and it's going to update and it shows my education is okay. So that's the education down. Okay. I hope you're following along and doing yours as well. Okay. So let's move on to the next stage. Now that we've saved education, got to move on to experience. And let's see, let's save that. Let's continue to experience. So I'm going to move out of the way just so that you can see what you are meant to be doing. So now you can see there's a purple button on the right side of the screen. Let's click on that purple button, continue to experience, and now you can see the experience. So I'm going to say I'm going to say I was a developer. Functional reporting area. Just answer all this stuff to the best of your ability. I'm going to say this was arrow. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. So the team size, you got to be careful because your team size could also indicate you got no clue about Agile as well. Agile methodology. This is something I don't like. I would rather say framework. But anyway, they're calling it a methodology. I'm going to choose Scrum. The dates. Choose dates that make sense. And also be aware of the restrictions as far as the time factor is concerned. Okay. So here is the experience description. This is a very important aspect because the description can totally get your application messed up. I know this firsthand because my application was at first rejected, and the problem they had with my application was it didn't give a clear enough picture of the management of work. It sounded more like the doing of work, the coding of work, the testing. And they didn't like that, and they rejected my application. I had to do it all over again. In fact, I got so fed up, I left it on the back burner. I said, you know what? These folks are jokers. I know I did what I'm saying. And why would you argue that the work of a developer is not relevant? But what they were saying, and you need to watch this so you don't make the same mistake, what they were saying is coding, testing, and developing is not practicing Agile. It is not upholding what they have mentioned in the domains to their point, because anyone could do that. What you need to do in your application is emphasize the relevance of agility in what you did. It's not developing and it's not coding and it's not testing. It is the application of agile philosophies to your projects. So if there's anything you're going to take away from this, take that, okay? So let's make this a little bit bigger. And over here it says, provide a high-level description that summarizes your experience and includes the objective, outcome, your role, and your responsibilities and deliverables. A typical response is between 200 to 500 words. Now, what I would suggest you do, my friend, is use what PMI have given you in the content outline as a basis. This is what I recommend to all of my students. I recommend going in here and taking these domains, all of these domains one by one and basing your application on that. Okay? And that is exactly what we're going to do now. We're going to take these domains and we're going to use them as a basis to fill in the information. So the very first one, or the very first thing I would do is I would put in the first domain, Agile Principles and Mindset, and I would say something to this effect. As a team member, I embraced the Agile Manifesto and its principles. I encouraged open communication, fostered a learning environment. I'll tidy up the typos when I'm done. Environment, and worked to create a positive atmosphere by playing an active role in servant leadership. I helped my team to focus on effectively collaborating while developing the solution. I could say help my team to focus on being transparent while effectively collaborating and developing the solution. This should be principles. All right, so this is number one, right? Agile principles and mindset. Number two, and in the sake of saving time here, I am going to get a bunch of stuff that I have wordsmithed, and I'm just gonna chuck it in here very quickly. So I could say something like, I assisted the product owner in planning value delivery by prioritizing features based on stakeholder needs, business value, and technical feasibility. So you're not saying you were the product owner. Maybe in your case you were. Maybe in your case you are the Scrum Master. So it's going to be even easier. So what I did was take the more difficult role, which is what my application was about, being a developer. And being a developer is tricky because you're not the Scrum Master, you're not the product owner. So all of these leadership, agile roles, if you will, are more emergent and team dependent. There's no where in the Scrum Guide or the Agile Practice Guide where it tells you what a team member's role is as far as the leadership and the project management is concerned. It alludes to it in some places, but you need to take that and extrapolate, okay, what did I do that is relevant to the ACP? And that's what makes it tricky, and that's why my application was rejected. All right, so I'm trying to help you not fall into the trap I did, right? Because development work is not necessarily agile project management. And honestly, the word agile project management is somewhat of an oxymoron because it doesn't have to be project management to be agile. Agile is agile. You could have agile in anything. So I would rather just call agile than call it agile project management. But it's a term that we've heard a lot in industry. But I hope that makes sense. All right, stakeholder engagement. You could say something to the effect of, I actively engage with stakeholders to understand their needs, their expectations, and their priorities. And then you could also mention how you collaborated with the product owner. Collaborate with the product owner to narrow down acceptance criteria and ensure that it was aligned with stakeholder requirements. Something like that. Okay? You got to take this and make it your own. Don't take it verbatim because that would be insincere. Accept it is exactly what you did. All right, team performance. You may mention your role as a servant leader here, and you could talk about how you helped the Scrum Master to facilitate meetings and ensure that your team members succeeded. So again, you're not the Scrum Master, but you're emphasizing how you assisted the Scrum Master and other individuals. All right, so right now we've got, it said between 200 and 500 words. We got 166 words, so we're doing well. Let's go to number 5. You know what, I might actually add some more. So you could talk about tracking performance here. If part of your job was being active on a Trello board, a Jira board, in Confluence or whatever tool you're using, you want to put it there, agile metrics and so on, you could also put that in there. All right, number 5 is adaptive planning. And you could talk about how you participated in planning sessions, whether it was planning poker you used or affinity estimating, all that great stuff. You could put it in here. Let's put a significant paragraph in here. So I'm going to talk about working with the team to create short plans, the idea of sprint planning, estimating, and so on, using some of the tools I mentioned. So you could say I supported the use of agile estimation using planning poker to improve the accuracy of our forecasts. As new information emerged, I helped the team adapt their plans and priorities, such and such. All right, so we've got 5 domains here. Let's go back so that you can see how we're doing so far. So we're on adaptive planning. You can see your application is almost done. Now we're going to put in the problem detection and resolution domain. So let's go over there. Problem detection and resolution, that's number 6. All right. Okay, so in this section, you could talk about how you actively sought to identify issues and risks. You could mention how you worked with the Scrum Master to resolve impediments and problems, and how you were part of that whole thing. So I would also mention how you promoted a culture of transparency, openness, communication, that kind of stuff. So I actively sought to identify potential risks, work closely with the Scrum Master to detect and resolve problems in a timely manner using techniques like root cause analysis, risk assessment. I also promoted a culture of open communication, continuous improvement, all that great stuff. And then we go to number 7, which is our the final domain. And this is very straightforward. This is continuous improvement, whether it is product, process, or people. So let's go ahead and put that in. Continuous improvement. And you want to say something to the effect of how you participated in retrospectives, how maybe you even facilitated some of those retrospectives, and how you helped implement those improvement items that you discovered at the end of the retrospectives. Okay, again, only put what you've done. If this is not you, try to get some ideas from this, but make it specific so that you don't fail in the event of an audit where you don't have anyone in the company that can vouch that you actually did this. You don't want that to be the case. All right, so I actively participated in retrospectives, collaborating with the team to identify opportunities for improvement in our product processes and interpersonal dynamics. I also encouraged the team to experiment with new techniques and practices. I worked with Scrum Master to implement improvements, monitor their impact, yada, yada. All right. So that is domain 7. If you just come in, what we're doing is taking a look at how to complete an application form for the ACP exam. I know a lot of people have been struggling with it. I am the poster child for how not to fill in your ACP application because mine was rejected over 7 years ago. And what I did was went off, got a little bit mad, and decided I would have to get a new project. It was that bad. I decided I would use a new project. So I scrapped the project I had done before because it was very development heavy, but I did not have enough agile experience from that particular project. I needed to emphasize how Agile was used in the project, and I couldn't because it was at best hybrid. It had a lot of agility, but I was more of a developer. And at the time, I was not able to bring to the surface how the development work I was doing actually had some project management in it, right? So it's quite an annoying situation. I had to go off for a while, spend another 8 months to 1 year working a brand new project where we're using Agile a lot more heavily. And my role was really more of project management within an Agile environment while still doing some development work. So learn from me, my friend. Don't write on your application, I coded, I tested, I developed. That alone is not going to get your application approved by most reviewers, because you have different reviewers. Some might just wave it and say, yeah, that's good. And you have others that give you pushback. And I got a whole lot of pushback. You ever felt like you were just unfairly singled out? Well, that's how I felt. But in hindsight, I realized what they were looking for. And you got to remember, these reviewers, some of them are one track mind. They got a script. They're looking out for stuff. And if they don't find it, they're going to push back on you. Okay. Not that they're singling you out. It's just the reviewer you get. Some reviewers are very resourceful, and others, they're spinning, going around in circles, not able to decipher what you're talking about because you're not giving them the language they're looking for, right? The language in the script. Okay, enough said. So that's how I would proceed with that. And it seems like we're done with the Agile experience. When I save it, you're going to see if it has enough experience or not. So let's save that. Save experience. Let's go up there, and it says, how much experience do I have? February 19, IT software. So February 2019 to March 20. This should be enough. So this is Agile experience. Now it wants general experience. So I could say, so if you are a PMP, it will already pick that up from your application and you would not have to fill this in. But if you're not a PMP, you would have to fill it in. All right, so all of this general information, fill it in. Budgets and so on, fill it in to the best of your ability. You got to also watch those dates. So that may be too far back. You want something more recent. Always make sure stuff is as relevant as possible. And now it's asking me for a high-level description that summarizes your experience and includes the project's objective, outcome, your role in the project, blah, blah, blah. So for this, I would recommend Googling Praizion PMP exam application video, YouTube. If you Google that, it should come up with the how to complete your PMP application video. I have a video on that, and I'm going to put that up here in a second, and you'll be able to see. So let's skip all of that, and I'll show you the video just so you know what to look out for. So I have another video here on how to fill in the PMP application, and from this video you can actually take my format, right? This same format that I talk about in this video, you can take that and you can use that as a basis to complete your ACP application for the predictive piece. So I'm just going to put that in and just follow that video that I showed you just now. Just Google it, Praizion PMP exam application. You'll find it. All right, it's a video. Let's save the experience. Let's see, should have enough experience in there. So I've saved that. Let's go up. So I need 26 months. So that's not enough. I'm just going to scrappily do this. And the reason why it's not enough is 2016 is too far back. So it doesn't have the specifics here, but your project dates, if they are too far back, you're going to run into trouble. Let's see. Enter your project experiences. The total months will be calculated. And it says find the specifics in the handbook. So let's open up the handbook. See, gotta love it. So I think PMI have ditched the ACP handbook, but there used to be a handbook there. But the summary of it is I need more months. I need 14 more months. And I'm going to go in here and just make a tweak by bumping this up to 2018 and this to 2022. And let's go ahead and save and see what happens. All right, let's go up. So seems like I've got enough. So I've got the green check there. This is not picking up as I would have liked. So I need to go in and see what happened with that first one. See if I got the dates wrong. Maybe I didn't give it enough. So February 2019 to March 2020. I'm just going to bump this up and make this 2022 a little bit more current. So you got to watch those dates because it might be mad and not let you go any further if your dates don't align. I would say definitely check whatever. Now, there we go. So it's calculated the 8 months. But let's go to this sheet again. So I really want you to get this. So looking at the sheet, it says 1,500 hours working on an agile team. And I believe these have been updated recently. Before we get off this call, I'm going to try to find a more up-to-date page because that link to the handout doesn't work. And if PMI is watching, you guys need to go update that handout thing because that is not ideal. Yeah, that's not ideal. So there's a content outline, but in this page array, there's no handout. But anyway, let's go back. We're done with the work experience. It has been accepted, and now we continue to exam details. Now we're at exam details. You got to put in all that good stuff, your name, if it isn't already there, phone number, all that stuff. And when you're done, you just submit the application after you've agreed to the terms and all the information is complete. You give all your information. Once everything is in as it should, you should have, let's save the phone. When you've done all that stuff, eventually there will be an activation appearance of this button now appearing as bold as this one. Let me get out of the way. I'm sorry. I'm actually blocking your view. So what I'm looking at here is this button that says submit application. You can see it's grayed out. It will become bold after all the information is put in. After you have saved all the information, you now see it is now bold. And at that point, you're ready to submit your application. All right. You can always go back if you need to edit anything by clicking right up there. Just going to go back and you can do whatever you need to. All right. So if you've got any questions, I would appreciate you asking. Put them in the comments below. If you have found value from this, I would appreciate you hitting the like button. sharing with your friends. Don't keep it a secret, because I know lots of people are wondering how to do this. So share it with other people who are, kind of clueless about this whole process. It's somewhat shrouded in mystery, and honestly, I don't think there's another video like this on YouTube that shows you end to end how to complete your ACP application. All right, now this is another page that I found from PMI that I'm going to show here. And this is ACP, Agile Certified Practitioner. And it says, apply if you have 1 to 3 years of project management experience. And it says high school diploma, 21 contact hours of training. Like I said, go on down to our website, to agileprinciple.com. If you want live training, keep checking to find the dates. But if you want to do like a hybrid where you meet with me live for one of the meetings and the rest you do on your own self-study, then just click this link for on demand. Okay, let's go back. All right, it says 12 months of general project experience within the last 5 years. You see, that's where my application was going off that time. It wasn't accepting the years because it has to be within the last 5 years. 12 months of general project experience within the last 5 years. A current PMP or PGMP will satisfy that. And then 8 months of agile project experience within the last 3 years. So you got to keep those in mind. 12 months within the last 5 years, 8 months for agile within the last 3 years. And that's it. Okay. So this page was kind of hiding. I hadn't seen this page before. It's under compare available certifications. So that's interesting. I need to go back and take a look at that. But I hope this makes sense, my friend, and I hope this helps you develop the confidence to know you can do this. Okay, in the past months, I've been streaming to you video from students of mine who have passed the ACP exam. All right, so I hope this helps you with the next step. Look in the ticker tape, and you're going to see agileprinciple.com. That's where you need to go for agile training, ACP training that will get you on the fast lane to success. Okay, we have mock exams, we have quizzes, we have books, a lot of content that you need to get certified. All right, so look no further. Go on down there and look for either the live or the hybrid, where we do some on-demand, and you also have some FaceTime with me on Zoom in the beginning and at the end as well. All right, you take care, my friends. I wish you all the best on the ACP. Good exam to take, very agnostic. It's not specific to one framework, and I believe if you go through the great training we have, you're going to do great. Talk to you soon.